Emergency is a film directed, co-produced and co-written by Kangana Ranaut, who also plays the lead woman as the former Prime Minister of India, late Mrs. Indira Gandhi. Emergency is a misnomer as it chronicles the incidents that took place under the leadership of Mrs. Indira Gandhi, one of the most powerful women in Indian history. What is a curious case of emergency? I'll tell you in this video. Welcome to Soberguyreviews. I'm Vadivan. Right from the beginning, this film was marred by controversies and issues with the censor board. After many delays, the film was finally released on 17th of January 2025, by when it looked like everybody had lost track of this film completely. The first curious case of emergency being the prominent lack of reviews from pan-Indian reviewers. As a Hindi film, rightfully, there are lots of reviews to be found on YouTube. But what I found strange was the lack of enough English reviews on YouTube. Except for Jammy Pants, all the other reviewers that I follow seems to have given this film a miss. If there are good English reviews worth watching, please let me know in the comment section. As I have done in my previous videos, I have tried to analyze some YouTube reviews and some digital media reviews. First, let's see what the digital media has to say. Let's start with the Hindu.
Kangana Ranaut turns Indira Gandhi's life into a lopsided listicle. Marked by uneven storytelling, the biopic comes across more as a selective recreation of archival material to serve today's political narrative than a compelling take on the darkest chapter of Indian democracy.
I find this term of today's political narrative particularly apt, so I believe this is a very valid take to summarize. The next is Indian Express, gives a rating of 1.5 stars out of 5. The review sums up as
Kangana Ranaut's confused Indira Gandhi biopic is weak in craft. In a preposterous sequence, Manekshaw, Indira and the members of the parliament join in a song. Not even Kangana Ranaut's undoubted competence as an actor can save it.
I don't know what sense would it make in a biopic when suddenly the characters jump into a song sequence and lip syncing to the lyrics. The next is NDTV, gives a rating of 1.5 stars out of 5 and says
Kangana Ranaut's film is a lesson in how not to make a biopic. The film wades through the early years of Indira Gandhi's life pretty much in the manner that it treats the rest of it, hastily, superficially and risibly.
The next is Times of India. Times of India says
the retelling of a defining era marred by a disjointed narrative. The lack of narrative fluidity and context undermines the attempt to narrate an important chapter in Indian history.
And is given a rating of 2.5 stars out of 5. That's the best I have seen so far. The next is Mathrubhumi.
Rushed, fails to deliver. Powerful performances, but a weak screenplay lets it down.
The next is Social Ketchup.
A parody film masquerading as a biopic. Kangana Ranaut's attempt at retelling one of the darkest chapters in Indian history and portraying one of the most formidable political personalities is at best a misfire and at worst an outright farce.
The next is Men's XP.
Kangana's mimicry of Indira Gandhi falls flat due to half-baked story. Kangana Ranaut takes on the role of Indira Gandhi in this biographical drama, which chronicles her rise to power and highlights significant events from her life.
The next is Hindustan Times.
Kangana Ranaut leaves audiences shook. Fans call film must-watch. Say Kangana is Indira.
As expected. Read if the headline it as Kangana's disaster and says Kangana's decline as an actor feels complete. This is in sharp contrast to what every other review had said because all the other reviews, however critical they were of the film, had lots of good words to say about Kangana's performance as an actor per se. Rediff is the first one that has openly criticized Kangana's performance as an actor. The next is First Post.
Kangana Ranaut nailed the role of Indira Gandhi with her nasal twang and facial expressions.
When I read this headline, I thought this could be sarcasm or it could be a parody, but unfortunately they are serious about what they have said. I have serious doubts about the reviewers' ability to review movies. And they go on to say,
Kangana Ranaut shines as a director and a craftsman. Not just Kangana, Mahima Chaudhary, Anupam Kher, Shreyas Talpade and Vishak Nair did justice to their roles in Emergency.
The next is India Today.
Kangana Ranaut delivers a rushed crash course on Indira Gandhi. Kangana Ranaut's film Emergency briefly touches on the 1975 emergency while attempting to provide a crash course on Indira Gandhi's life, but struggles to delve deeply into key historical events and character motivations.
So this is what the digital media had to say about this film. Going by the digital media's opinions and recommendations, this film doesn't come across like a must watch. So I'm not surprised that most of the people have given it a miss, but it surprises me that even the professional reviewers has missed it. Or at least they don't seem to be in a hurry to watch this film. So now let's look at what the YouTube reviewers has to say about this film. I did not have too many choices, so therefore I watched only 4 of the YouTube reviews. To start with, Tried and Refused Productions, Jamie Pants. He has lots of good things to say about this film. He starts by saying that there is some good news for Congress sympathizers because this is not an out and out propaganda film. Obviously, there are flaws in this film, which he has pointed out at many occasions, but he still feels that this film is decent enough to watch. I was also keen in listening to reviews of a political commentator who has some knowledge of the historical and political events, but unfortunately, there were not too many options, but there was this review from the Deshbhakt Akash Banerjee. I kind of anticipated that his review may be biased, and it turned out to be that way. I did not find it level-headed enough, though I find some of his points valid, particularly the way he feels how Kangana has portrayed Indira Gandhi's personality, and that being, in her enthusiasm to bring out the vulnerable side of Indira Gandhi, she has gone overboard to the extent of portraying as a weak personality. This may not go well with a big chunk of the audience. The next one is Filmy Indian by Diksha Sharma. She has pretty much the same sentiments expressed like Jamie Pants, that Kangana Ranaut's performance is laudable and that it is a decently made movie, if not well made, and that it is worth watching once. The next is Shan Prasher. He looks unusually cool-headed in this review, and he also has a lot of good things to say about this film, and he is one of those guys who had echoed the popular opinion of many other reviewers, which is, why can't Kangana just stick to acting? And I completely agree with that. So here again, lots of performance of Kangana as the performer and as a director, though the script writing may not be perfect and the screenplay may not be perfect, but he still feels that this film is worth watching once on the big screen. So this is what the YouTubers has to say. If we have to go by the recommendations of YouTubers, by and large, the sentiment looks like the film is worth watching at least once on the big screen. From the limited YouTube reviews that I watched, a few things were in common. First thing is, contrary to the popular notion, this film is not heavy on propaganda or hatred. However inaccurate this film may be, the film stays away from tarnishing the image of Indira Gandhi. But still, the public has decided to stay away from the film, and I cannot blame them for it, because the moment you see Kangana and Anupam Kher on the posters, immediately you form the conclusion that this is going to be a propaganda movie, and you cannot blame anybody for it. The next feeling that is unanimous is everyone wishes to see Kangana, the actor, on screen and not the writer, director, producer, social media personality, or the politician. In sum, this film does not seem to be like that much of a disaster that even the right-wingers should give it a miss. With some good word of mouth and support from the right-wing audience, this film could go on to recover its cost. It is reported that it is made in a modest budget of 25 to 30 crores. If that is true, then this film will go on to cover its cost. However, Wikipedia sources says the film was made at a budget of 60 crores. I do not know which version to believe. If the budget is around 60 crores, then I believe this film may not recover its cost. Personally, I never intended to watch this film, and after going through these reviews, my opinion has not changed. I am still giving this film a miss. What do you think about this film? Please let me know in the comment section. Thanks for staying. I'll come back with my next video. Till then, bye bye.